Knowledge-based urban development is the strategic approach to form the cities of the future, which is, we call them knowledge cities. Knowledge cities have various substantial elements. For example, one of the most critical one is the society. Without the knowledge-based society, it's not possible to establish knowledge cities. Second element is an economic development that is mostly based on a diverse, knowledge-intensive activities. This not necessarily means very technology-based, highly innovative, but it could be, for example, technologies and innovative approaches within agricultural industries. The third element is the environmental dimension of it, because as I put forward the importance of the knowledge individuals and societies, where they live, the environment that hosts them, that could be built environment that makes our life easier, as well as the environmental and natural qualities that we want to live in. For example, Bento Gonçalves, for example, Caxias do Sul provides the interaction between both natural and built environments to improve the quality of living. And the last critical element is the governance and management aspects, because we could only achieve a balanced and sustainable development if it is managed and governed, not necessarily through the traditional public-driven institutions, but also in the more contemporary approach of quadruple helix design, bringing public, private, academia, and communities all together in critical decisions. Various departments of these institutions, non-government organizations, and various private institutions they have critical roles to establish a good governance, transparent, reliable, non-corrupted good governance. But as I say, this is a challenge not only for emerging economies, but also for the developed world as well. The universities are the nexus of knowledge-based development. So if established successfully, a university is a micro-knowledge city. Given that the student, staff, communities are engaged within the activities that's not necessarily teaching and research or administration, but beyond this, socio-cultural activities, even environmental or some political issues, raising awareness on those topics are very critical. Universities as the core developers of knowledge and innovation. Universities and other education institutions, not only universities, but for example, primary and secondary schools, equips individuals with a hunger and curiosity to know more, investigate more, question more, and eventually they become knowledge individuals that seek the best options for their surroundings, for their countries, cities, and the globe. In theory, you would expect all smart cities to be sustainable, because if you don't have the sustainability base, it means that you are not going to leave your grandchildren or to the next generations the environment or the qualities that exist today. And so sustainability is critical on theory. But unfortunately, smart cities is a concept that there are different definitions. For example, if you're a technology company, I think the prime goal is to install all these sensors and develop Internet of Things to make places intelligent and smart. But not necessarily in the traditional terms. Smart is that kind of smart. Aristoteles was smart. He was living in the ancient Greek times. Ancient Egyptians were smart. They didn't have they had their own, for us today, relatively more traditional technologies in building the pyramids. So smart not necessarily translates. In my view, technology and social sustainability could only establish if we have a perspective on, comprehensive perspective on balancing the development, not giving so much emphasis on one area. Currently, it's the technology. Who knows, maybe 10 years time it will be something else. So in theory, Our smart cities must be sustainable, but unfortunately, empirical research showed that not necessarily all those cities that claim that they are smart are sustainable. So sustainable urban development is a challenging task. And the most recent interpretations is increasing density within urban cores. The density by itself, while it is not spreading the development, so you can preserve the agriculture or green space or open spaces, natural locations. The infrastructure provision is becoming harder. A small city with populations of millions, but there are architects, designers, scientists are coming up with new building material technologies, smart urban facades, building facades, green roofs, green walls, and various solutions that try to diminish the impacts of our population increase and urbanization on the environment. I think all urban and regional planners, urban designers would love a neo-traditional urban form that we only drive if it's necessary. So everything, local shopping, walking distance, kids go to school, relative walking distance or cycling distance. Employment is in a self-contained area, so you either drive short distances or take comfortable public transport. For example, for Caxias, it's an industrial city. For it to be sustainable, maybe the industries needs to move towards more green, not in terms of providing less emissions, carbon emissions, but also maybe finding ways to automotive industry becoming more green technology industries in the transport area. It's a beautiful place. I think you have everything. In my view, the only thing is missing is a good governance, good initiatives from not only public sector, not only the government, but also some private industries as well, private entrepreneurs to convince the region to work together and turn it into a smart, sustainable and